And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show. And apparently our sirens are still working. I saw a new article in the paper, I think just yesterday, that apparently some tornado sirens are actually not working and the city's not replacing them. But ours are, so we'll see how that works out for that other city. Welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe, and our good friend from Franklin County Public Health, Joe Mazolla, is here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for the invite to come back. I'm excited to be here again.
It's always entertaining because there's always something health going on. Thankfully, this time is not because of anything that's actually happening. It's just kind of seeing where we're at and then what's kind of the focus and priority moving forward. So kind of let's dive into a little bit. The last time we were together, we had a little conversation about something called the bird flu. It seems to have fallen out of favor in the news media and all of that. They've moved on to other cooler pandemic type related things. But where are we at? Are we still kind of dealing with that, or is it actually kind of gone away to the point where we can not worry about it as much?
So I would say it's something we're still concerned about, but something that is not as active as it was a few months ago, which is a good thing. Certainly in Ohio, we've kind of been the focus from an agriculture perspective, and we've seen that the impact from the economic side. But from the human health side, it has quieted down over the course of the last few months across the nation, which we're very, very thankful for. Something we're very concerned about, but we're not as concerned as we were maybe just a few months ago. But we are using this as an opportunity to continue our planning, to continue to make sure that we are engaged with our state partners. And so we're having those active conversations, making sure that we're staying up to date on the most latest guidance from our national partners as well as our state partners as well. So it's a kind of a quiet time. We are going into, of course, agriculture and fair season. So we'll be doing some reminders for folks as they're going either to the state fair, and certainly the Franklin County Fair, which I know is a great opportunity for us to be in the community. So overall, quieter, but we're keeping a close eye on it.
All right. So this is going to be a really dumb question, but so we know that there's a flu season for humans. Is there a bird flu season, or is it pretty much just a year round? It could be whatever. I'm just curious.
So what I am learning about this is that there actually is.
Okay, see,
and so we had a great presentation a few months ago from our friends at the Ohio State University, and they kind of educated us about that this is probably going to be a more cyclical, sort of a seasonal kind of activity. So that's why we're seeing that lull right now, but we will expect that
when chickens go out and they talk with other chickens, it's more likely to spread.
Exactly.
I see how that
goes. So no, it's a great question, and it's likely we're going to see those seasonal kinds of activity going up and down in the future.
All right. Well, the next thing is a slightly less serious issue. Measles. Apparently, the thing we thought that was pretty much kind of non-existent is now back. Yay. Are we seeing anything in Central Ohio? I know Texas has been areas and things like that, but are we seeing anything here in the local area about measles?
Yes, we are. And I would say it's a much more serious issue right now for us at this particular time, because we have seen outbreaks across the nation and here in Ohio. That we do not have any positive measles cases here in Franklin County, thankfully. But we have seen some confirmed cases in Knox County, just a couple of counties away. So for what we're doing here in Franklin County Public Health, of course, always reminding folks to make sure that they're staying up to date on their vaccinations, particularly for your little ones who are eligible to get the MMR vaccine. Very safe and so effective, 97% effective, and when you get those 2 doses. So we've been doing some proactive engagement with our child care facilities and our schools, and certainly doing more messaging around the importance of staying up to date on your vaccinations with respect to measles. Measles is one of those things that, as you mentioned, something we haven't really thought a lot about because it had been eradicated. But we are seeing, as you mentioned, across the nation, we are seeing these outbreaks happen, and so what we want to remind the public about is that when we have an outbreak of measles, for every 1,000 cases, statistically, we're going to see 1 death, and that is something that is 100% preventable. We have seen over this course of the last several months across the nation a hospitalization rate of between 10 to 14%. So when you think about individuals who who are not vaccinated, we're seeing that high rate of hospitalization, and so very, very concerned about that. Measles is not just you getting the pimples on your face. It's not that. It's a very, very serious disease. But so preventable, and so we want to make sure we continue to emphasize that folks take that opportunity to stay up to date on your vaccinations, and when those little ones are ready, when they're 12 months old, that they can get that first dose of the MMR vaccination.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of not go off on a tangent on that particular thing. All I know is that I'm 48 years old and I've never had the measles because I got vaccinated. Take that for what it's worth, everybody.
I'm 49, never had measles because I got vaccinated.
I wonder if there's a correlation between this. Okay, enough of that. So we know that Franklin County Health does a lot of different things. So I was kind of like snooping around on the website because I was like, all right, what can we talk about that's a little bit new? And one of the things that I came up with, food inspections. It's your responsibility to make sure that everybody's restaurant that we like stays open, and we get mad at you when you close our restaurants, and then we find out, and then we're perfectly okay with it. So tell us what's that process like?
Yeah, well, so we follow the food safety code for the state of Ohio, and we have a staff of 14 environmental health specialists whose their day-to-day job is to go out and inspect food service establishments across our health jurisdiction. So we license about 3,000 restaurants in our health jurisdiction, and so we do 2 inspections per year. They are unannounced, and so we have to go through all of the checklists of all of the things that we're looking for from a food safety perspective. Thankfully, we only have to probably 1 or 2 a year where a restaurant just doesn't come into compliance. Okay. Our approach is really to work with the operator to make sure that they understand why we're there and the importance of food safety and handling food properly and following the food safety code. So we work with restaurants. If they have violations, we will work with them to say, these are the critical, these are the non-critical violations, and we want to make sure that gets taken care of. We'll always do a follow-up afterwards if there are certain violations that need to be corrected immediately. And if for whatever reason they do not come into compliance, there's a whole process in Ohio Administrative Code that we will then do an administrative hearing, and then we will take if that doesn't solve it, then we will take the issue to our Board of Health. And if need be, again, very, very rarely will we close a restaurant for any kind of serious food violations. So we also track foodborne outbreaks across Franklin County and make sure that we are doing those investigations timely. So a very robust program, very complex program, lots of details there. So it's something we take very seriously. And again, I want to make sure that folks feel confident, and they should, in going to a restaurant, because we are doing those inspections on behalf of the city of Reynoldsburg.
Yeah. And if you see the red tag on the door, you might want to find another option. So that's just my thought. Well, it was interesting because I know, again, it's Franklin County Health does a lot of different things, and that's one. The other one that I happen to see, and I know that we're dealing with it exclusively in Reynoldsburg, is how the plumbing aspect works. Yes. Because this is something that is relatively new, and if you're not opening up a business, you probably have no idea about this. Or housing, really. It's how Franklin County deals with plumbing now. Yes. Something that not all health departments do, but we do act for Franklin County. We act in the capacity to do all plumbing permits, plan review, and inspections for commercial plumbing projects as well as for some residential remodels. Yeah. So we work with the city of Reynoldsburg to do that, and we work with other local communities as well. So if when you see a building being built, it's likely we are involved from the plumbing permit standpoint. So a contractor and the city will submit plans to us. We will review those plans. We will come on site to take a look to make sure everything looks good from the plumbing code, which again, very, very complicated. We have a team of 7 certified plumbing and medical gas experts who work at the health department, and this is what they do every day. As you know, the economic boom, if you will, of Franklin County keeps us very busy to make sure that we stay ahead. What we're really, really grateful for is we've been able to streamline that process of submitting plans and permits and inspections to the health department, so that all of that is now electronic. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Commissioner Crawley, who may be already here, I wanted just to give a huge shout out to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners and County Administration. They provided us American Rescue Plan dollars for us to invest in a new IT system so that we could streamline this process. So what used to take days now takes literally minutes.
for these plans to be submitted to us. We can review them all electronically. We can work with the contractor. We can work with the municipality. We can work with the folks on site to make sure everything gets done timely so that we can continue that process. Because what I understand is no one wants construction delays, right?
Yeah,
So
I've heard that.
You may have heard that,
that,
yes.
yeah.
So we are, of course, very sensitive to that. And this new IT system has allowed us to really improve the efficiency. And it's something that some of our local communities have already invested in. But from a countywide standpoint, it has really changed the game for us. We're also using that same system. The state has invested dollars for us to utilize that same system with food. And that just went live literally 2 days ago. Our plumbing software went live a few weeks ago. So all of that to say, all of our licensing and permits are now online, and it's a much more efficient and hopefully more customer-friendly process.
Well, I'm all about government bureaucracy, and yes, indeed, the commissioner is right behind you, so she heard you when you said.
Hello, yes.
So kind of wrapping up with that, the last thing is we always know that there's different initiatives and different things that are going on. So what is kind of the focus for Franklin County Health right now? What are you kind of doing for the rest of this year?
Yeah, so it's May, so we're looking into summer, and so a couple things, and I brought some things here, some props, if you will, to talk about some very important issues. So as we get into summer safety, we are of course going to start opening public swimming pools. We do all those swimming pool inspections and licensing for the city of Reynoldsburg and all of our communities that we serve. So summer safety starts with those public swimming pools, making sure that they are open safely and that takes place timely. We also give out summer safety little kits here to make sure that folks have reminders about sunscreen and mosquito repellent and those kinds of things. And
I could have used you last week.
Well, this is yours. You can keep it. But we'll be giving these out at different events across Franklin County, making sure that our residents have some resources there and some reminders. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we have been talking a lot about mental health. I'm sure Commissioner Crawley will talk about the Mental Health Summit that happened on Monday. But for us, we have a Behavioral Health and Addiction Services section at the Health Department, and we have a Recover for Life campaign, which is a marketing and media campaign that really talks about breaking down stigma around mental health and addiction. So we have used May to kind of continue to highlight that particular issue, but it's something that we'll stay focused on, of course, for the remainder of the year as well. Also wanted to mention just a few words about tobacco and vaping. We've talked about that.
Can we just say don't do it?
We can say don't do that.
There we go.
Yes.
See, there you go. It's your health. The more you know.
We can definitely start there. We also want to just thank the City of Reynoldsburg and Reynoldsburg City Schools. They've been a great partner of ours to raise awareness about the dangers, particularly around vaping. And I want to make a little bit of a plug about a couple things. In addition to acknowledging that program, there's been some really great artwork that's been developed that some of our youth had created to kind of talk about what they see as far as vaping is concerned, what they see with their peers, what they see in the schools, and that's been really, really meaningful and really impactful. So I appreciate those projects and those partnerships that we've had with the city and with the school district. For anyone who wants to quit, I want to really emphasize this, particularly for teenagers as well. They can call the quit line, and for anyone wanting to quit and needing resources to quit, they can call 1-800-QUIT-NOW, which is the state quit line, which we do receive some state dollars for tobacco prevention and cessation. And so we want to emphasize that the state does have that quit line available. Again, 1-800-QUIT-NOW is the number. And so if anyone who wants to call, they can call for free and get information and guidance about how to quit successfully.
And it's incredibly important, especially when you start seeing some of the health data that's coming out now that vaping has been around a little bit, and you're starting to see, there's always, we knew it's bad, but now we're starting to find out exactly how bad, in addition to whether it's vaping with tobacco products or if there's other things in there as well, it becomes a whole other thing. So.
Yes,
well, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do. I never want to have to go through a pandemic with you, but if we have to go through it, I know you've got the back of Reynoldsburg's got your back and you've got ours, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much. Check out the website. There's a lot of cool information on there, and I'm sure that some capacity you guys will be out at some of our events this summer.
We will be absolutely at many events across the county, and we will be at the Juneteenth event coming up, and if there's other events, please just invite us and we'll be there.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it. Thanks for
man.
coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another guest that is coming to us. Commissioner Crawley is a longtime friend, known her for a long time. And she's joining us today. She's got an incredibly busy schedule, so we're kind of like thrilled that she's able to be here. And she just walked out. Oh, there she is. Okay, I was just come on in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you for making it right before the rain came.
I know. Perfect timing.
Well, I appreciate you coming here. You've got a lot of things that are going on, obviously. So just kind of go right to it. You know, we heard from the commissioner what his issues are that they're facing. What do you feel are some of the issues that Franklin County is facing right now?
Oh, a lot of different issues.
Okay, could we name?
Yes.
Give me your top 3 or 4.
So housing. Housing continues to be an issue. Housing, and then I would say homelessness, and figuring out how to support our shelter system that has been at capacity and over, and understanding that funding is tight, and we need to be able to make sure that our shelter system doesn't lose any beds, that we move people out of shelter and get them into permanent supportive housing. That has been a challenge, but just housing overall, we know we're not building fast enough.
I'm working on it.
I know you are, and it makes a difference to have partners in our other municipalities who are working on this issue, and has put it at the forefront and is looking at all housing, affordable. You know, we need them at every spectrum of the scale, affordable market. We just don't have enough housing. So that is number one. I would say the other issue that people may not be on people's radar, but absolutely should be, is access to high quality early learning or childcare. Childcare is absolutely an issue, and we have been focused on supporting our families with Franklin County Rise Childcare Initiative, supporting providers so they can keep their doors open. When we poll our providers, they are still saying that they don't know in 3 to 6 months if they'll be able to keep their doors open because they don't have enough revenue. We know that that's the workforce behind the workforce, and so when people don't have access to childcare, they can't go to work. So we would say housing number 1, childcare number 2, even though they're all like number 1, and then workforce, and making sure that we're creating pathways to livable wages and into the middle class. So those are the top 3.
Well, I'm glad that Reynoldsburg is doing absolutely nothing with any. No, you just mentioned that. So housing, obviously, we've done a lot of work with that. Childcare is a huge thing, and I don't think once people get done with that stage of life, they don't think about what childcare costs. It was always expensive, like when my kids were there. But now you look at it now and you're just like, it's how much? And I think people are shocked at it, and again, because it's a lack of availability.
Yes.
And there's just not as many out there as what there could be. And then, of course, what was the last topic you said? Because I know the last workforce. The Link Us program that will hopefully be coming online in the next couple of years is hopefully going to be a game changer for the Central Ohio area in general, because people who don't have reliable transportation will now have opportunities to get to good paying jobs, whether it's in Columbus or whether it's in Reynoldsburg or anywhere along the BRT. I think that is a helpful thing. So it seems like a lot of groundwork has been laid. It's now just trying to make sure that we can withstand all the uncertainties at the state and federal level that we have no control over.
Right.
So there are 3 county commissioners, and do you guys draw straws, or how do you pick which is going to be my focus versus say Commissioner Boyce's focus or something like that?
Yeah, I think we all have our avenues and our lanes. I think we all are trying to alleviate poverty in general. I would say for Commissioner O'Grady, access to food has been one of his biggest issues that he champions. He started our local food board, and he is all about food and sustainability and economic development, supporting new businesses coming here, housing, and things like that. For Commissioner Boyce, he was the one who had the vision behind the Mental Health Summit. I talk about mental health too, so we both are in that space. I talk about it from my own lived experience as someone who has a diagnosed mental illness, but lives a happy, healthy life. Also, I'm understanding that, I just shared at the Empowerment Summit as I had a breakout session that I am a 2-time suicide attempt survivor, and last time that I attempted was 20 years ago, and have gotten through that and have taken my career from surviving to serving, and so he has the mental health platform But he also was the brainchild behind the Rise Together Poverty Institute, the Innovation Institute, because they changed their name. So, and he does a little bit in housing as well. So we all have our lanes. I talk about maternal and infant health a lot, and have done a lot of work in the legislature. And when we talk about funding organizations, I have led the charge in making sure that we are supporting grassroots organizations that are in that space. And then I have been a champion for early learning, because 20 years ago, when I was paying for childcare, I was paying $1,000 a month 20 years ago. I was paying more in childcare than I was for rent. And we see people paying the same amount that they would be paying for college tuition these days. So we all have our lanes, but we're all trying to lift up our Rise Together Poverty Blueprint Plan. That is the framework for how we do business. So for those of you who are listening, if you're not familiar with the Rise Together Poverty Blueprint Plan, you can Google it. It is 13 goals, 120 action steps, and that is how we fund everything that lines up with those goals and objectives, because it was made by the community for the community, and that was published in 2019, and that is our framework for doing business.
Well, it's, you know, you say that, so it's 2025, halfway through 2025 basically, and that started in 2019. Nothing happens overnight, and there has to be such a consistent push to deal with these things, because I think that a lot of people have issues when they deal with any of the things that you've just talked about. They can be overwhelming, and they're like, well, I can never solve this, so therefore I'm not even going to try. And then the fact that the stick-to-itiveness of the commissioners and what they're trying to do is commendable, because that's the only way that anything actually will ever get done. It has to be for that. So I appreciate that. So we always talk about how the county is more than, you know, everybody thinks that the county is just Columbus, and it's not. It's everybody. And so there are a lot of ways that the county works together. I know our social workers continue to work with different agencies in Franklin County to provide services. But what are some other ways that you can think of that are beneficial, that some of these other agencies or things under the county that help this general suburban communities?
Absolutely, and thank you for that. We have 43 municipalities in Franklin County. People don't realize that. We have 18 cities. We have a number of townships and villages, and all of our municipalities matter. We have about 1.4 million residents here, and so how do we make sure that every community feels like they're part of the county, that they can thrive? And so we work with our township associations, we work with our municipal league to find those ways that we can work together. One way that we see is through economic development and planning. So when we're annexing land from a township to a city or vice versa, you know, that is allowing our municipalities to expand and to grow. The county is also responsible for water and sewer in our unincorporated areas. People don't know that. Sometimes we have a relationship with the city of Columbus to provide water and sewer, but ultimately for the unincorporated areas that falls under the county. We do support different initiatives that our municipalities have. So I know here in Reynoldsburg, when it comes to Juneteenth, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners has supported that. I know we were in conversation before about, you know, how to working with one of the schools and doing some redevelopment there. Those are opportunities always to build our relationships, but also to support the good work that's happening here in Reynoldsburg, or if we're in Whitehall or down in Lockbourne. I know the mayor down there is trying to get a monument for the Tuskegee Airmen, and we have supported that financially. So we can do better. I think historically we have just relied on our townships and supporting our township association, but and our other municipalities have felt a little left out and left behind. City of Columbus is the big fish in the small pond, but this board of commissioners realizes the value that all of our municipalities bring to making Franklin County a good place to live, work, and play. And we have gotten recognition at the National Association of Counties for the work that we do with all of our region and our municipalities.
Well, I appreciate it, because, you know, you've never been someone that has not answered the phone when we've called here in Reynoldsburg for things, so I do appreciate that. My last question and then one comment. What's the best part of your job? I always ask that because it changes for everybody, and there's usually a common theme, but in general, what do you think the best part of your job is?
So the best part of I got a great gig. I think the commissioners really fall like our job falls under the radar. I think people know their mayor and their city council members. We have a larger budget than the city of Columbus, and the work that we do really touches everyone's lives. People don't understand that. I mean, we fund the courts. We fund 35 different agencies, from Adam H to the Board of Development of Disabilities, and the fun part about my job is we hold the purse strings, right? So we get to say where like money goes. And
it's a good thing you said that, because that's my follow-up comment that we'll talk about in a minute. Go ahead.
And so we get to fund different initiatives. I get to see how government can work for the people when there's political will,
Yes.
and that is very, very fun to see that, and when we make a difference for just one person. The other good thing that I love about my job is I love anytime that I get to go into schools and be with kids. You know, I know you know from being, you know, in the school system before, but this job can weigh you down. You know, it can be a lot. The politics of being elected can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be disheartening. But when I get to go into a classroom and read to kids, I am inspired by them. I am hopeful. They give me hope to, like, there's a better day, or these are our future leaders that can, you know, change the course of some of the things that we're seeing. So that's a good thing about
That's a
that.
cool thing. Well, my only comment, I just want to give you an update. So the affordable housing units that we're planning on in Reynoldsburg are actually in engineering design right now.
Oh, wonderful.
So they are going through, so we hope to have that out and through all of our various committees and things of that nature. And when you leave today, make sure you look. It's going to be right across the street in the open field, right across the street.
Wonderful.
So it's right across from City Hall. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, so that's one of those things.
Congratulations.
I'm thrilled with it. It's going to be 102 units, and
Mhm.
it's actual affordable housing all the way throughout. And
Okay.
the city is standing by it. There are people that are not as familiar with what affordable housing is in today's world. They think it's something else, and so we try to educate as people on that as best as we can. So don't worry, when we're ready for the groundbreaking, I'm sure we'll try and get everybody out
I
there.
would love to be here. And if I may, just talk about affordable housing. I think we have to continue to educate our community. When we have ditch petitions or we have annexations, lately people have been coming by, coming to the county, expressing their thoughts and feelings, and they're not always good. And I said, one day somebody's going to come down and say, thank you for building this into my community. I love my community, and I think that more people should live here because it's a great community. But when I have, you know, residents who, you know, are pushing back on affordable, and they make comments about, we don't want random people walking in our community. I'm like, random people? Okay. You don't want your teacher to walk in the community? You don't want your firefighter to walk in the community in which they live? You don't want your police officer to walk in the community? Like, when we're talking about true affordability, and sometimes the salary ranges that we're talking about, these are our teachers, these are our firefighters. And so when I push back, and I'm like, when I humanize this and who we're talking about, then there's no pushback.
And I agree, and I think that letting them know that it's not what they think it is, and sometimes even challenging what they think it is, because they have this perception and they're locked into it, but then actually saying what exactly is going on. And the other part for a lot of people, like when I've spoken to my senior center residents, I ask them, what's an apartment cost these days? And they have no idea how much apartments cost, but that's not necessarily their fault, because the last time they were looking was probably 25, 30 years ago. And so they're not familiar that obviously those prices have gone up. I was at a function before I came here, and there were some WORPC interns there, and we were talking a little bit about housing, and I asked any of them, because most of my senior citizens, they say, oh, it's a good 2-bedroom apartment in Central High, $700. And I looked and I asked the interns, I'm like, so how many of you live in a $700 apartment
Yeah.
that's really not? And so it's just getting that educational piece out there.
Absolutely. And so we'll have to continue to do that, because we're going to continue to build. Like, growth is happening.
Yes.
We can't stop it. We shouldn't want to. People are moving here, and I love that. But we have to have places for people to stay at every income bracket. We need deeply affordable for those that are finding themselves in situations where they're unhoused. and need stable housing, so deeply affordable. But we also need, some that are market rate or at 100% AMI or 120%. We just don't have enough at either scale.
Agreed. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to come
Thank
and
you
talk
for
to
having
us.
me again.
I appreciate it. If there's anything we can do, please let us know, and I'm sure we'll see each other as
Well,
we
I
continue.
would love to host the conversations with Crawley out in
Oh,
Reynoldsburg.
absolutely. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Definitely.
sometime.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You're
Thank
welcome
you.
to stay, but I know you always have lots of things to do. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you very much again. Had a wonderful. I really don't think we're going to beat the rest of this show when you have the health commissioner and then you have the county commissioner as well. Got a couple of other things because there's a lot of fun stuff going on in Reynoldsburg over the next couple of weeks. First thing, we had the board meeting last night, so if you want to know about that, go ahead and check that out. There is a Reynoldsburg boys basketball camp, so I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. So this is going to be June 2nd through 4th at the Summit campus from 5:30 to 8. You're going to work with some of the Raider boys basketball staff and work with the teams. There's going to be contests and competitions, and you'll have an opportunity to take a photo in a Raider uniform and a chance to win some pretty cool prizes, things like that. So go ahead and participate in that. And I want to also mention we have a youth football camp that's going to be there, but we're going to talk more about that next week. It's going to be June 7th from 12 to 2 at the Livingston Campus Stadium. It's grade K through 8. Reynoldsburg Junior High Tennis is going to have something June 2nd through 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Wagner Road Junior High. And really cool thing, I mentioned it last week, the Leo Club. So Leo Club is an organization in Reynoldsburg City Schools that raises money for pediatric cancer. And they had their big Raider-thon on Saturday night where they kind of bring everything together and they take stock of all the fundraising dollars that they put up. And for I think the third straight year, they have eclipsed their previous year's record goal. They raised $22,616.54 for pediatric cancer research. So that is a huge accomplishment. Shout out to our students at Reynoldsburg City Schools for making that happen. So thank you for an all-important cause. So that was great work on there. No game show to this week for code enforcement, but I do want to let you know it is now the 21st of May, which means you only have a little bit left to do participate in No Mo May. So if you haven't cut your grass by now and you need a machete to do so, start planning it because come June 1, code enforcement's going to come and get you, just letting you know. So make sure you're ready for that. We have a blood drive today here in Reynoldsburg, so despite the rain, the blood drive is still on. So as a matter of fact, about a half an hour after the show, I'm over there and I'm going to go ahead and donate. Wagner Road is continuing on as scheduled. They are working on stormwater on the west side of Wagner. The further up they go, probably a little bit closer to the other side of Messiah or the Oakbrook Village, the Oaks Village, they'll start working on the curb lines up. So you're going to see a lot of those things as well. And as you already know, and judging by the traffic, the Taylor Road sewer, the sewer project, that area is now open. They are going to finish the rest of that part of the road, but the goal is to try and make it safe, get those 2 lanes open. So it shouldn't be much longer until they're out of that general intersection as well. We do have a cool open house for the Bryce Road project. That's going to be June 2nd at the Reynoldsburg Library. It's going to begin at 6 p.m. So we're going to be there and talk about what improvements we're talking about for Bryce Road. We're going to talk about intersection realignment. We're going to talk about putting things on a road diet. We're going to talk about adding street trees and other infrastructure improvements in there. So it's an opportunity for you to come out and get a kind of an education on all of those things. So hopefully you can join us out there. You will also see some surveys popping up online in the not too distant future, and we'll have some surveys in-house as well for those people that don't like doing surveys on the internet. Our alley work is going to start here in the next couple of weeks, so I went over those. Phase 2, we're going to try and do a very small number of areas in Phase 2 for some funding for getting some of our streets repaired. So as soon as we have that ironed out, we'll let you know where that is. Parks and Rec is doing a lot of cool things, so we've got programmings including a Nature Day. This is going to be June 1st at the Livingston House from 1 to 4 p.m. We also have adult volleyball signups from 6 to 8 p.m. At the Reynoldsburg Community Church from June 10th through July 29th. I'm hoping that my youngest, who loves volleyball, is not listening because I don't know if he wants to. I don't know if I want him to sign up for that one yet. Other than that, Bryce Park, if it ever stops raining, we can get back and do work there, but every time we get close, it rains again, so we're working on it. Development's got some cool things. We've got Einstein's Bagels is continuing to move forward with that, so they'll be located in between the Wax Spot and the Plato's Closet over off 256. and the alliance will start being underway here. Probably you're going to start seeing some things happen next week, so we're looking forward to seeing that particular thing go. Any questions?
Just one.
Okay.
And they would like to know the status of the Rep Field House.
That's a good question, and so we actually met last week with the group that controls the other side of it, the Central Ohio Primary Care, because we want to make sure that we're being good neighbors, and they agreed that this is a good a good fit for everything. So they are moving forward. We hope to have the Rep Field House on our planning and zoning agenda sometime in July, maybe August at the latest. But their goal is they want to break ground this year. So we are still 100% full speed ahead on that one. So we're in good shape. So, all right, good question. There are a number of events this coming up. The first one is going to be for Memorial Day. We're going to observe a ceremony at Silent Hill Cemetery. That's kind of in between Lancaster and Graham in that general area, and that will be at 9:30. And there will be a Cedar Cemetery, the one behind BB Bop, will be just after that at 10 a.m. And the VFW will be there as well with their honor guard. So please, if you're able to join us at either of those locations, that would be great. We have the cool Artist and Makers Market. This is a fun one, just because there's it's shopping. There's no rides. There's none of that stuff. There'll be some music in the background and probably a little bit of food, but really everybody's going there to buy some cool things. There's always something there with all these great market vendors. Unique produce or unique products. We've got gifts, music. There's going to be food there. I don't know what the food truck is. Do we know what the food truck is yet? We don't know what the food truck is.
It's Bowser's.
Bowser's,
like
like
hot dog with
oh,
chili
okay.
dogs
I
and
didn't
stuff
know
like
if there was
that.
that or something Mario related.
No, not Mario.
So Bowser's, the hot dogs will be there. So at least there's something in that. So hopefully you can check that out. And that's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Always get there. It's a beautiful location at the Livingston House. So go ahead and check that out. We also have our People's First Town Hall with State Representative Meredith Lawson-Bro is actually going to be next Wednesday, I believe.
Yep.
Next Wednesday from 6 to 7, and I know that she is going through the budget process at the House and talking about all sorts of things, including property taxes. So if you want to hear from your state representative, you see me in Kroger and ask me questions all the time, but if you actually want to talk to your state representative for Reynoldsburg, please come in and take a look at that one. It will be a great opportunity to ask questions and find out what's going on there. The Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce is also doing their things. We're going to be getting ready for their next monthly lunch. That's the first Thursday of the month. They also have their awards gala starting in October. It'll be October 16th from 5:30 to 9 at the Wigwam Event Center. It's business casual, so you can dress however appropriately you want to. I know some people will be wearing shorts, other people not so much. But go ahead and check out that. And if you're looking for some sponsorship opportunities to advertise your business with the Chamber, there's plenty of those there as well, so check that out. We also have our very first walk and talk with the mayor, and it's going to be off Mueller and Mistel, not too far actually from where I live, and that's going to be May 29th at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to be out there with a trash picker and a garbage bag, and anybody who wants to come is happy to, and we can talk about all sorts of cool things that are going on in Reynoldsburg, or we can talk about Star Wars, because I'm always a big fan about that. But anything else that kind of comes up there, let us have a conversation about that area. So that was one area that kind of came up, and we'll be doing this again about once a month in various areas. You do not have to live in that part of Reynoldsburg to participate. If you want to drive in from somewhere else, you are more than welcome to. But it's always a good thing to come out and just get a conversation about your concerns and questions about everything. So. We also have an event that is coming up on June 21st. It's called Groove in the Burg. It's with the Grove City Big Band. It's a 21-member band, including members from the Clinton Community Jazz Band. They're going to be at the Livingston campus on Saturday, June 21st. It's starting at 5 p.m., and it is all for basically the drama club in Reynoldsburg. So it's going to help fundraise for them and listen to some fun music and all of that. So you'll see some more information on that coming along, and we'll also have some of the members of the organization to talk about it as well. Also wanted to put a shout out to anybody who's interested in walking in the 4th of July parade, any local businesses or anything like that. The Reynoldsburg Community Association is taking applications for that, so if you're interested, get that stuff in. We're also taking information for joining the pageant group. So if you are interested in running for Tomato Queen or participating or have kids that you would like to participate, check out the Parks and Recs page. I'm sure that you will be easily find the pageant information for everything, so go ahead and check that out. I know they are looking for kings and queens as well as senior royalty, so hopefully you can participate in that as well. Speaking of the Tomato Festival, that is going to be here before we know it. It's August 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's going to be a lot of fun. We only have another week or so, and then I can finally tell everybody who the one Friday night act is. I'm getting dirty looks as we speak. So we're going to let you know who the Friday act is. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we're going to have some great fun at the Tomato Festival. We're also looking for some volunteers that maybe if they want to participate and help out with the Tomato Wars. So if you're interested in that, come on out for that. You heard a couple of other events coming up. We have Saturday, June 14th. We have Juneteenth from 4 to 8 at Huber Park. There's going to be a fashion show. There's going to be some live music and some food trucks, kids area, photo booth, and all that. And there'll also be some free health screenings there as well. So come on and check that out at Huber. Litter cleanup is good. I want to give a huge shout out to the Lions Club. They have done their due diligence and they have helped clean Taylor Road for the last last year and a half. So they actually got their dedication plaques last week. And so they're out there all the time. So thank you, Lions Club, for helping to keep Reynoldsburg pretty in that area. Any questions, comments, anything like that?
Nope.
Nothing? All right. So again, if you want to know anything about what's going on at the State House, I do recommend you keep an eye on it because they are talking about the budget. There's a lot of things in there about property taxes, about school funding, about anything that comes along with the city and things of that nature. Huge things. Feel free to ask some questions about that stuff. Come to the Representative Lawson Bros town hall next week and get some really good information. These are the times that you make the decisions. So if you want to know what's going on and how to help, say you want to advocate for more funding for Reynoldsburg City Schools, this would be your opportunity to do so. With that, next week we are going to welcome in some Tomato Festival royalty, and they're going to talk about their experience and what they did. And we're also going to bring in Michelle Garver, who's the Youth Services Manager for the Reynoldsburg Library, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what cool summer programming is coming up at an incredibly amazing facility. If you haven't been out there, the Reynoldsburg Library is awesome, so please check that out. If there is nothing else, everybody else, stay safe, stay respectful. For those of you that are graduating this year, that they're graduating next week, congratulations. Now you get to listen to all the high school speeches telling you about how your life starts now. And it does, so good luck with that. It's a lot of fun. Everybody else, stay great. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.